What's up and welcome to another episode of Football Everyday, coming to you live and direct from the Stars Studio V here at the One Utama Shopping Centre in PJ. I'm Nelsen, and joining me today, Football Everyday regular Mr. Shebby Singh, or I'm supposed to drop the Mr. and Anand, who is a writer with MalaysianInsider.com, as you all would already know. Thanks for coming again, Anand.
My pleasure.
Well, I'll tell you what, just like last week, right, I'm over the moon, seeing as Man United are now just 1 point away from the title. Which leads us nicely into today's chat, Shebby. I mean, in case you missed this morning's match, the Red Devils defeated Wigan by 2-1 at the JJB, thanks to goals by Tevez and Carrick. Shebby, certain quarters have branded United as something of a lucky team. But isn't this what title contenders do on a regular basis in terms of somehow managing to turn an average performance into a gritty and important result?
I think, yeah. I mean, how do you define lucky? You make your own luck in football, and that is what Man United are really very good at. I mean, there have been a lot of games this season where they've not really played their best football, but they've come up with the results because, you know, there's this, what do you call that, this resilience that they've built up, you know, this belief. The players know that, you know, one of them will come up with a piece of magic, and it was Michael Carrick with that winning goal. So, in my opinion, whoever says Man United are lucky, I think, you know, should follow some other sport.
Totally agree. I mean, it was a bit of fortune, but you got to say that great skill from Tevez, right? I mean, to convert the mishit shot.
I mean, they all count.
Goal,
at the end of the day, they all count. Yeah, you know, I mean, they can come off your shin or come off your knee or come off your, you know, your backside. They all count. So you know, there's no element of luck in that.
Okay, more importantly, Shebs, would you say they've effectively sewn up the title with yesterday's result?
Yes, very much so. I know I picked Liverpool to win the title start of the season. I was very passionate about that. I thought, you know, they had a great opportunity. There will be a lot of regret, more than disappointment for Liverpool and Liverpool fans. But Man United fully deserve it, and now it will be 18 all on league titles. You know, and it just shows, you know, what a great team Man United have been. Forget the accusations of being a closet Man United fan, but the football, you know, is worth watching. And Michael Carrick has always been a personal favourite. And once again, I mean, you know, I would say Man United, well done. Now on to the Champions League.
All right. Anand, I mean, as a Gunners fan, I've got to ask you this. I mean, do you agree with Shebs in general, or can Arsenal, you know, who are still smarting from 2 consecutive defeats, you know, still have a part to play in making sure the title race goes down to the wire?
You know, regardless whether, even if Arsenal beat by a miracle, they could beat United this, but it's Hull at the end, and United will wrap it up then. They have the
momentum?
The momentum, not to mention the resources to do that easily. So that's not an issue. But on the note of, they have, as what you said, they make their luck, and as you know, the old saying goes that if you don't buy the lottery ticket, you don't win anything. So they've taken the shots, they've done the what do you call it, the smart tactics to just basically get the result when they needed to, no matter what it takes. So
can you see Arsene Wenger fielding a full strength squad? I mean, they are going to try.
Yeah, of course.
Right? I mean,
there's nothing to lose here, and there's nothing to gain. There's no pressure on the team. Just play everyone. Hopefully Arshavin is recovered, and you know, Almunia, the whole works, and they will play their hearts out. That's all that any Arsenal fan can hope for.
Very much so.
Revenge is a very subjective thing, but they won't say it. But
I think they need a big performance. I think they need a big performance because we saw against Chelsea, you know, I think it's 2-0 down, you know, a lot of empty seats became very evident. You can't have that. You can't have your fans leaving you. So Arsene Wenger, you know, needs this game, perhaps more than most, you know, to put out a great performance and to show people that, hey, next season, this is what you can expect.
That's right. I totally agree. I mean, in case, you know, you're not aware, this weekend's early kickoff on Saturday sees United host Arsenal at Old Trafford. In a game, Fergie's men only need to draw to become champions, and that kicks off at 7:45 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Quick score prediction from you, Anand. I'm just very curious.
I don't do score predictions. Okay, I would say that it'll be a draw.
A draw?
Fair to say
a
draw.
Yeah, I'm somehow leaning towards that as well. I think Arsenal will put in performance. Man United will do what is required. You know, I think it was 3 or 4 seasons ago where they had to form a guard of honor at Old Trafford to salute Chelsea winning the title. You know, I think, you know, they would love it if Arsenal had to do that.
All right,
but they don't do
we'll
that
take a look at other interesting matches in the BPL. But we're going to take a short break right here on Football Everyday, so do stay tuned. Welcome back to Football Everyday, where we're still in the midst of dissecting this weekend's tasty BPL fixtures. Moving on, we head to the Hawthorns, where United's closest challengers, Liverpool, face an almost doomed West Brom. Shebby, the unfortunate thing about this match is that by the time Liverpool actually take to the field, United could already be celebrating the title. So what kind of bearing do you think United's result against Arsenal will have on this one?
I think either way, Liverpool will go out there and thrash West Brom. I strongly believe in that. I think you have to end the season on a high. Even if you miss out, you can't be feeling sorry for yourself. And for Liverpool, really, when they look at the final league table, they will find, under the home draws, they've got 7 home draws. That effectively killed their title hopes, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. I mean, assuming United do get a draw against the Gunners, which we're all expecting, do you see Rafa all of a sudden, putting on an understrength side, which might possibly give the Baggies some slim chance of survival?
I don't think so. I think Rafa cannot afford a bad result, and Rafa desperately needs to win. He desperately needs to once again throw up the statistics by saying that we have more points now than we did last season, and he'll come up with his 1,001 excuses as to why they didn't win the title. So he will need to win convincingly against West Brom, and then beat Spurs. So that he can justify his own excuses.
Not to mention who does he drop? Why would he drop them?
Right. Okay. Anand, let's say United contrive somehow to lose at home against Arsenal. Can you see anything other than a Liverpool win over West Brom?
Oh, that's a given already, because West Brom, despite their result last week, I think they are doomed to failure against Liverpool, because Liverpool just had that momentum. They've got the class. They've, and Gerrard, as we just discussed, having won the Football Writers Association Award, they have the quality. They will win the game without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay, but looking at the bigger picture, then, guys, Shebby, what happens for Liverpool now? Assuming that it really looks like they're going to end up empty-handed.
Yeah.
So what happens for Rafa and his men now?
I believe, Nelsen, that if Liverpool had won the title, or win the title, if there's any chance, I think the team will stay intact. I think if Liverpool are not going to win the title the way it looks like, I think there will be some players who will not be happy with Rafa, the way they have been treated by Rafa Benitez. And when there are offers, Mascherano has already come out and said, that there are offers for him. Shebby Alonso, obviously, and again, the likes of Benayoun were very, very unhappy playing bit pals. Ryan Babel is another one. I strongly believe, I think this team could disintegrate.
Right, but do you think do you see him going out to get some major reinforcements?
I mean, if he loses influential players, the players that we have mentioned, he will need to get reinforcements. But again, how many people? Okay, there's 2 things here. Every footballer, would love to play for Liverpool. But how many footballers would love to play for Rafa Benitez? That is the question.
Right. Okay, I think if you're talking about a bigger picture as well, guys, I think overall, if you're talking about Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal, the 3 of them together, I think you would say it's a disappointing season for 3 of the top 4 in English football.
Very much so. I think Anand will talk about Arsenal, but for Chelsea, I think this is the end of an era. The team's been together now for 4-5 seasons. It's time for a revamp, revamp rather. And who will be the unlucky one to come in there and say, look, I need another 2 seasons now to start rebuilding? Will be seen. I think Carlo Ancelotti is the favourite, but we'll see whether he comes.
So you're betting on Hiddink to leave?
Yes, I think so. I think Hiddink realizes the size of the task. He will need more time, and I think he will leave with a bit of a bitter taste in his mouth as well.
Especially in the Champions League.
And that is the difference between Arsenal and Chelsea, because Chelsea are going to get yet another manager. Arsenal will still keep Arsene Wenger, and thereby Chelsea will have to go for another revamp, and these players are aging players, will go out and new players will come in according to the direction of the new manager. Arsenal will maintain status quo. He has already said he's going to buy only 2 or 3 players at the most, experienced players. Where positionally we do not know yet, and the board is happy with that. Fans, not everyone. Maybe it's a more a verbal minority which is speaking out a lot. But other than that, it is going to be status quo at Arsenal. Why not?
I think when you talk about big players, he needs world-class players. Because at the moment they've got one in Fabregas, they've got another one in Arshavin, but they need at least 2 or 3 more before they can start competing at the highest level again.
All right, great stuff, guys. But it is time for yet another break here on Football Everyday. It's time for some short messages from our partners. So please do stay tuned for the third and final segment coming up to you very shortly.
I think that's what he needs.
Well, time really flies, but you're back with us here on the third and final segment of today's show. And continuing with the football chat, okay, from the title chase to the relegation battle, guys, when Newcastle entertained Fulham at St James's Park, Shebs, having got his first win at last against Middlesbrough last week, surely Alan Shearer's men need to build on that result, with another good result against the Cottagers.
They do. I think, Shearer finally has found his right team. Yes, we will talk about Michael Owen, but I thought, Michael Owen played as well as he could. He made a lot of good runs, but there was no creative mind in midfield to play him in. So stick with the team that started, and then bring on fresher players, as in Obafemi Martins coming on. Andy Carroll had a couple of chances to score as well. So the game plan that has worked for him should work again, and just apply the same. Because in my opinion, I think Fulham, for me, I don't remember anything about their football. But they are in a very, very good position in the league. Right. It's not because they've been brilliant, it's because a lot of other teams have been very poor. So I fully expect Newcastle to win, to get 3 points.
How crucial is Viduka, I think a lot of people pointed out his performance.
His performance, his timing is always very right. He disappears for the whole season, turns up in the summer, plays 2-3 good games, and then gets a contract extension. Yeah. But no, this is what Viduka is all about. I would question his hunger and his determination. But now, he put in a good performance, and everybody's talking about a contract extension. But you got to look at Viduka over a whole season, over 2-3 seasons, and say, is he what we need? Right. And I don't think so. I don't think he's got the desire, to be somebody. To give his all over a season, and he's getting older as well.
I mean, Anand, I got to ask you if your thoughts tend to echo Shebby.
No, if at all Newcastle wins, not because they're better than Fulham, it's because they're hungrier than Fulham. They need the points. They're desperate. They got a win under their belt now. They do need it. I still believe Newcastle will go down with Hull, and I think it'll take a miracle. But Middlesbrough can still pull it off. I think they can do it. Aston Villa becomes a common factor between Newcastle and Borough, because they are the team that needs to play both, so they could actually determine.
But I got to ask you this: if you're talking about being desperate or hungry, so to speak, but Fulham are in the chase for European football as well. They currently occupy 7th. I mean, Anand. So don't you think they would want to push on from here and secure that 7th spot?
I think quality-wise, they're not that great. I mean, like I said, they are in a position because other teams have been poorer than them. I do believe West Brom, Middlesbrough, and Hull will go down, because Hull will be the story of the season.
We're all hoping for Hull to go down.
All right. So, quick score prediction, Shebby. I'm going with Newcastle win as well.
I'm going to go with a Newcastle win. I think they can win 2-0.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Very quickly. Sorry, Middlesbrough host Aston Villa. Shebby, is all hope lost now for Borough?
It is. I mean, you look at them and think, who's going to get them a goal? Apart from Tunchai and Matthew Bates, they don't have too much going for them. The younger players like Andrew Johnson, he doesn't get to start. I'm surprised why not. Andrew Taylor at left back, he's going to go on to become a good fullback. So there is enough young potential there to suggest that they have a bright future. But in the immediate future, they have been let down very, very badly by their strikers. I mean, Alves, has been a waste of space. Marlon King, I will never understand why he was signed. Jeremy Elliott again hasn't delivered. So poor striking options, have let Gareth Southgate down.
Okay, so we roughly can expect where Middlesbrough headed next season. And rounding things off today, another match that catches our eye is Shebby's beloved Spurs against Manchester City. Shebby, Anand, what do you guys think is going to happen in this one?
Go on, Anand. Have a go at Spurs.
I don't mind either team losing, because Mark Hughes is a is someone that doesn't deserve to have a team with all that money backing him. That's for sure. He should have been kicked out 6 months ago by the owners.
Pretty harsh.
Yeah, because look at all the resources and the funds he had, and he couldn't do much with that.
I think there are cases, where players get coaches the sack. And I think just like Roy Keane got the sack because of the players, I think Mark Hughes, has been let down by the players. The players, if you look at them individually, they are quality players. They fail to produce their form, individual form on a regular basis, and fail to perform as a team. But Mark Hughes, in my opinion, has always, been thinking in the right direction. I will give him one more season.
Okay, but just before we go, Shebby, you got to put your head on the line. Spurs, City, what's going to be the outcome?
Well, I'm going to go with the Spurs win 2-1.
Alright, great stuff, guys. Thanks a lot.
And say it out loud. You are a Spurs fan.
I am a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
Alright, there's Shebby setting the record straight for you guys. But unfortunately, that's all the time we do have on today's show. If in the meantime you want to drop any of us a line, please do so at football@thestar.com.my. Until we see you next Thursday, enjoy your football, and we'll see you soon. Ciao.
That was
Ciao. Thank you.